Oh, wow. So we'll see what a last minute live does. If anybody even has time to join, or if it's of interest to anybody, that's for sure. But we'll just slowly take a look here. I have to check a couple of messages. So, what is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Will policy, and I should say this far in advance, okay, is, I'm not seeing, okay, I don't have. Hi, Adam. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're doing well. So, I guess the question is, and I should say this in advance, okay? We're not here to talk politics. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, and it doesn't matter, okay? Whether you like President elect Trump or whether you despise him, whether whatever, none of that matters. Things are what they are. And because they're what they are, how is policy going to change? Is policy going to change? And with that comes how that policy is going to impact you as a tourist, as a visitor, as a resident, as an expat. That's what I'm here to talk about a little bit. Okay? I'm here to find out how you feel, or if you feel policy changes are going to happen with respect to anything that's going to impact the Philippines, expats, and everybody else. Will policy change create a better environment or a worse environment? Will it be accepted? What are your individual thoughts? And let's talk about it. But again, we're not here to bash. We're not bashing other channels. We're not bashing other people, and we're not bashing politics. We're just talking about how Trump's administration may make policy changes that globally impact people elsewhere. So that's what we're all about. Good morning, Scott. How are you doing? Hope things are going well for you. Thanks for joining us. Michael Ataz, live from New York. It's live with the bald guy. Yeah, I'm telling you. Philly in the Philippines. Good morning, Brian. Hope you and Lot and the kids and all the relatives are doing well. How's things in Surigao Island? I'm sure it's a beautiful place. Some of the videos you've been putting out are just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And even on cloudy days, the color saturation that's coming across on your videos is really, really nice. That's for sure. So again, before we get into this deeply, I want to remind people, this is not here to bash people. We're not here to bash channels. We're not here to bash presidents, ex-presidents, vice presidents, individuals, and politics. That's not what this is about. This is a touchy subject. I'll be honest with you. A lot of YouTube channels that do not devote themselves to politics, doing one-off occasional political type content is very, very disastrous. So we may lose a few subscribers to this, but we all want to know, what's happening. I was wondering why President-elect, he lost in 2020. Now he lost in 2020. Did your name used to be Trump Lost Big? I knew he's changing his name, so maybe that was I was wondering why President-elect say the count was rigged. Don't know, don't care. The count is what it is right now, and this is not going to be into that. I want to know what people think about whether policies will change in the U.S. Will immigration become easier? Will it be easier to get a K-1 visa, a spousal visa, or to bring your Filipina or partner over to the U.S. on a tourist visa? I mean, I can tell you a horror story about a buddy of mine is going through right now. He literally, it's going to be like a 2-year ordeal to get his wife to the U.S. All right. Are things like that going to change? Will the Philippines ever become, a visa on arrival to the U.S.? I doubt it. All right. But I'm just throwing stuff out there. What's going to change? What do you think is going to change? And what impact do you think it's going to have? Good morning, Ricky. Hope you're doing well. Will the peso rate drop or remain the same? Philly, I don't know. I'm loving the rate the way it is right now. The Feds lowered the interest rate in the U.S. The Feds lowered it. The federal interest rate got lowered. What was it? A quarter point, half a point? I saw this morning. We'll see. We will see. Go truck yourself. Ending no tax on Social Security will help American expats. I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest with you. The amount of taxes I pay on Social Security is mice nuts. And I don't know that they can take that out. I mean, how are they going to replace that money? I have no idea. If they do, it'll help. That's for sure. Michael Etas, the Philippines is key to world trade. Philippines will be kept safe. I agree, Michael. I agree that the Philippines plays a very strategic role in the future. And it is currently a strategic position. So it is what it is. Liam, good morning, sir. How you doing, Liam? Hope you're doing well. Brewer fan, hey, nice to see you. Thanks for dropping in. Big Dave, top of the morning to you too. How you doing, Dave? It's good to see you yesterday. Ran into Dave yesterday. He was on his way to a meeting, and we were over by Tequila Reef. So, Go truckers. American economy under Trump will boom, so that helps everyone. Stock market will go up, so that helps everyone. Well, you know what? There's no doubt that is already happening. Will it continue? Will it continue down? I mean, when the Dow goes up 1,500 points that day, it was as if the stock market knew in advance. The day before Trump, the day before, our night before the voting and everything else, the market went up like 400 points. Then the next day, the market, exploded, absolutely exploded. And you can't beat that. That is, shit. That was a great day, to be honest with you. Good morning, sir. Dumagati. Expats get real. Yeah. Well, welcome. I don't remember you offhand, but welcome to the channel if you're new, or if you're just dropping by. But thank you so much. Japan will protect Philippines, check United Nations, University Regional, One World Order map. It might. I don't know. Japan's got its own list of worries right now. It really and truly does. But where do you think Trump is going to? Do you think that the Trump administration are going to make positive changes that will impact us? MJ's retired Phil. Howdy, folks. How you doing, MJ? Thanks for dropping in. Michael, this is a very, very valid point here Mike makes. As long as currencies are pegged to the US dollar to be strong, but if BRICS gold backed currencies, it will take a hit. I don't know. All right. I'll be honest with you. I really don't. And BRICS plays an important role, but because I don't live in Europe, I'm not as in tune to it. That's just the honest truth. It's one thing for YouTube channels to talk about stuff. It's another thing for them to talk about things that they have some working knowledge of. We try and do things and talk about things that we have a working knowledge of. And yeah, I know what BRICS is, and I know it has this issue and this issue, but I don't know enough about it to give a good, bad, or indifferent position. I'm sorry. Not that we can't. We can discuss it for sure. I just can't peg it one way or the other. We're really upfront, simple. Arlen and I are really simple. I mean, you look at our videos, there's a couple of videos coming out where Arlen's driving like Miss Daisy on meth. Okay, just like, and the conversations we have in the car, you'll find out pretty quick. We're pretty simple. It is a changing dynamic. Yeah, Mike, it is. And we just don't know what that changing dynamic is. What do we think is going to happen? Mark Reynolds. Whoops, let me miss that. One thing needs to change, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. We're not here, Mark, no offense, all right? And yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying, okay? But we're not here to bash people, channels, or individuals, okay? We're here to try and talk about what do people see the policy changes that Trump represents impacting the Philippines, impacting wherever they are, because this is going to impact expats all over the world, okay? It's not going to have, the impact it has in America, that's a whole different live stream, that's for sure, okay? So whether you like Trump, you don't like Trump, we don't really give a shit. We stay away from that. Whether you like Harris or don't like Harris, that's not what this is about. We want to know what the policy changes might be and what and how they might impact the Philippines. That's okay. People are entitled to say what they want. We're just not going to let it get out of hand, and we're certainly, that's not the direction the conversation is going to go in. You can call me Inmate Mike with, oh my God. So Mike changed his channel name to MJ's Philippine Retirement. How you doing, Mike? Hope you and Venus are doing well. USA is printing rainbow currency backed by gold, silver, and platinum. You never know. Hillbilly Pyro, how you doing, Hillbilly? Hope things are going well. Izzy and Chris, President Trump should hold the Philippines to the same standard he wants NATO to pay up for U.S. support. If the Philippines wants continued support, pay the U.S. That's never going to happen. The Philippines will go broke before they do that. All right? And at the same time, if the U.S. wants the Philippines as a strategic launching pad for military, they're going to be the ones that are paying up. That's our opinion, anyways. Japan is heavily invested in, whoops. There we go. Japan is heavily invested in USA bonds for payment back in military equipment. If the USA fails, so will most of the Western countries. I don't see the U.S. failing. In fact, I see change represents growth, evolution, good or bad, and it goes in cycles and it pitches from left to right. So change is inevitable, just like evolution is. That's our opinion. Whether it's going to go well or not I just can't give you a good straight answer on that. Really can't. Mark's got it. No worries at all, Mark. Please don't worry about it at all. Dave says, I think time will tell whether 47 learned something from his ground as president. A leopard doesn't change his spots overnight. No, he didn't. I mean, I don't know. But will his policies do us well as expats? Will he have policies that help the Philippines? I don't know. And that's what I'm asking everybody here. Is anyone in here a expat that lived it the last time? If so, how are things in the Philippines? Yeah. And, they were better than they were during pandemic, and everything recovers and changes. But the Philippines is dynamic. American policy to the Philippines hasn't changed hardly at all. Okay. It may change. So it's hard to really give you a good answer on that. But the Philippines has evolved a little bit, not much, a little bit. I'm wondering if Trump supports the U.S. Navy to assist the Philippines. Well, you know what, Brewer? That's an interesting question, but it's not going to be whether Trump supports the U.S. Navy. It's whether he does or does not allow them. And what are the rules of engagements? What's the ROE? Okay. The Navy reports to Trump. So, he's the commander in chief. The president is the commander in chief, so I don't have a good answer for you. Will things change? Yeah, I think they're going to change. Some things will. Brewer fam, of course he does if it benefits the United States. Yeah, sure. I mean, Trump is, the current administration ran on a platform of making things better in the U.S. all the way around. Are they going to be able to do it to where it impacts us in the Philippines? Would we see something where VA hospital gets built? Would we see something like VA benefits being accepted at Filipino hospitals? Would we see something like Medicare being impacted? All right. How is Social Security going to be impacted? Jack King, often in the Philippines. How you doing, Jack? Thanks for dropping in. I foresee China backing off on the pressure there. I think China is going to have its hands full with Taiwan, trying to find a reasonably acceptable political and ideological way to absorb Taiwan. But the Philippines, China's got no claim on it, and it's not going to get a claim on it. and I don't see that. So yes, I see them changing a little bit of their direction. The dollar is backed by nothing but international trade fees for oil and other world goods. If they also skip paying in U.S. dollars, USD would collapse. Possibly, but if the dollar collapses, Americans will find something else to pay with. I mean, America's got all kinds of resources. You know, you might be carrying around a debit card that trades in liters of oil or in liters of natural gas or dirt or whatever. I think that we'll see changes. I really and truly do. Adam says, I'm due to retire in 4 years. I'm scared out of my mind. Something's going to mess up. Got to keep reinvesting those dividends. Adam, be smart. Absolutely be smart. That is, having passive income in the Philippines on top of your Social Security or retirement or whatever makes life way, way better. You know, you can live a really simple life here, but do you want to? Okay? Do you want to lead that very simple life? Some people want to. Some people are comfortable doing that. Some people don't. It's just going to depend on where you come and end up with it. Carol, how you doing, Carol? Elon Musk spoke about a business in the Philippines. Yeah, you know, Elon talks a lot, but I see his dollars are invested heavily in the U.S. So I don't know. I really and truly don't. Hello, Mike and Arlen. How you doing, Donnie? Thanks for dropping in. Elon Musk, yes, there is a Tesla store in BGC Manila area now. There was a pop-up, and now there's an actual Tesla store. But the Philippines is a long, long ways from being able to be beneficial to electric vehicles. I mean, it's hard enough to get electricity to your house 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Can you imagine portable charging stations and things like that? The infrastructure for sustainable electric vehicle is just tough. It really and truly is. Fred, let's chat about China. Well, certainly, Fred, we can talk about anything that you want. The village people will protect the Philippines with a private navy. There you go. Mike's got it figured out. China knows there's incomplete. Maybe Fred says China knows there's a new sheriff in town. I don't know. We'll see. Is this thing on? Yes, Donnie, it is on. Philippines is lucky Trump hates China. If it wasn't for China, you'd probably never see a U.S. warship in the Philippine Sea. I don't know, Izzy. First off, I don't know that Trump hates China. I just know Trump wants to make money. He's a businessman above all things. I don't think he's that great a politician, but he does what, he is good at business. So, what works? I don't think he's going to do stuff that personally tanks his 401k. Who knows? That's another benefit Trump will have on the Philippines. China will calm down. Yeah, I think they will calm down a little bit. He said day one of removing undesirables. That's what he said on the campaign trail. Yeah, Politicians say all kinds of shit. Yeah, I mean, they're going to say, I don't care how honest a politician is, he's dishonest to a certain extent. They're going to say things that it takes to get elected. They're going to say things that the population wants to hear, or the greater population. All right. So, with Trump winning, winning the electoral college is one thing, but he's also smashed the popular vote as well. So he's resonating into policies that people like. Augie Bendoggy. And like you have mentioned before, you need cash set aside. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Watching The View was the cleanest, best pleasure on Wednesday. Oh, Izzy, I think I get that. Michael, the British pound was the world trade currency during World War II when it collapsed. Then the US dollar took over. British had income tax 95% for many years to get government debt under control. Yeah, you know, I don't I don't know who's going to win the Tyson. Oh, Tyson's going to win that fight, Philly. I'm sorry, Brian. Tyson is going to win that fight. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. He's making deals with Saudi as we speak. That's my belief. It's possible. Anything's possible, but how is that going to impact expats here? How is that? Is it going to hurt us? Is it going to help us? Are his policies going to? Let's do this. Let me. We're gonna put this up. We're gonna put the link up, and if you would like to join and join the panel, we'll unlock the panel, open it up, and if you'd like to be on the panel, just join that link below, and we are happy to let you, debate your piece. Not even in, and we're not arguing here. We're just, there's no rights, wrongs, good, bad. I think it's way too early to tell, but it isn't too early to speculate a little bit about what could transpire and how you feel. What does your gut tell you right now? Does your gut tell you now, this is the time I don't want to be in the Philippines now? Does your gut tell you, oh yeah, I want to be there. I'm looking forward to retirement. It's looking better. Was anyone here 2016, 2020? The peso has fluctuated from between 50 and 60 pesos to the dollar over the years. And, you can look it up, but, it's moved. You have to remember the peso to the dollar also is pegged on the economy in the Philippines and the buying power across the board of the peso in other countries and exports, actually. Hold on, I'll be right back, Ruby. Can I join the link in a thong eating a lollipop? No, Mike, I'd kind of prefer you didn't, but you know something? If that's your gig, and if the general consensus of the people in the comment section are okay with it, why not? Shouldn't I be? The channel, the interviews, the thoughts, and everything else, they belong more so to the subscribers and viewers than they do to me. Good day, Ruby. How you doing, Ruby? Hope things are going well for you. Thanks for joining. Philly in the Philippines. How did any previous election affect the Philippines? This is my third president in the U.S. election. I've seen nothing that affects expats in the Philippines. Well, I don't know about that, Brian. I mean, if you think about it for a minute, policy could have been made to tax pensions higher, or policies could have been made to limit benefits, things like that. Um, you know, so I mean, maybe no change in policy like at all. Who knows? Peso rate only. Now, Smith says, and he is absolutely correct. I agree with him a whole lot. Those shipping lanes are too financially important to many countries. Yes, over half the trade in cargo trade and shipping in the world passes, around the Philippines, either through the north, uh, um, uh, that gap between Taiwan and the Philippines, and then up and down the entire western coast of the Philippines. I kind of want a Kuya John cameo. I don't know how John is or where John is. I hope he, his dog, and his girlfriend are all doing well. That is funny. No, I can't go through that though. I mean, you can't control Kuya John. Honest, he can be a difficult person on a live stream. Back around 2013, the exchange was 43 pesos to the dollar. It's improved since then, obviously. Yeah, it has. Absolutely, Todd. How you doing? Things going well for you? Dave says, I know this isn't going to help expats, but anybody with brain one in their melon can see 47 in his hand picked Supreme Court will be busy cleaning up his various. You know what? Dave, not here to bash people. Take it easy. Okay? That's not what this is about. I don't see how that is going to impact the Philippines. When I first started dating my wife 14 years ago, it was a low 44, 45 pesos to went as high as 50s. Yeah, Michael, I can remember when it was 44 and 45. Ruby, Philippine Forex rate, the U.S. dollar depends on the country's dollar reserves. There you go. And Ruby's a pretty smart young lady. Good morning, Mike. Philip from Florida. How you doing, Philip? Thank you for joining. So, what happens with the Philippines? What happens with expats? Maybe it won't affect the Philippines, but will it impact retired folks that, is it going to, are they going to cut Social Security? Are they going to cut the eligibility for Social Security? Are they going to cut the percentage amounts? I think those of us that are already there, pretty much grandfathered in, it'd be a death sentence to do that. But for the future, I don't know. I foresee some very difficult decisions that have to be made. Every day gets an inch closer to the finish line of where it's going to be. Just the fact that changes are on the horizon. Hopefully, the lobby is advocating to allow Medicare benefits for expats to have a place. I would hope so, Todd, but I don't think they give a shit about us. But man, you're right. Wouldn't that be nice? Len, my first visit to the Philippines, the rate 11 to the dollar. Len, did you come over here as an infant? My God, I can't believe. When was it 11 to the dollar? Wow. Michael, but the question is your buy? Excuse me. I'm so sorry. The question is your buying power stronger or weaker? It's called inflation. And that is so true. It really is. I mean, I look at what people pay for certain things, and it's difficult. I mean, will inflation drive up the reason that people want to leave the US, that take their dollar where it spends better than it spends in the US? Is that a possibility? My foot's off the gas. It doesn't matter, Dave. Take it easy. Dave's such a good guy. Hello, where is British John and Mike? I need a good popcorn fight. You know what? I haven't heard anything out of Kuya John in a while. Oh, British John. British John, he's floating around. His channel's still out there. In fact, he opened a second channel. Somebody was filling me in on the other day. And Mike is Mike. We got no idea. I haven't heard from Mike since the hurricane. If they cut the taxes on Social Security, that would be a benefit. It'd be nice. It would be nice, that's for sure. And I'll tell you why it makes a little bit of a difference. I would bring more money to the Philippines if I didn't have to pay more taxes. And understand what I'm saying about that. I am pretty close. Let's use a different example. If all you get is Social Security, you don't even see the taxes coming out of it. You don't even fit in there. All right. But if you have Social Security and a 401k and retirement and whatever, all right, all of a sudden you're getting taxed differently on money you make above and beyond. I'd bring more money here. I would liquidate money out of my 401k if I wasn't going to get taxed so heavily on it. Ruby says, hi, Q. Linlin, 1982. Wow. 1982 was 11 pesos to the dollar. Donald Healy, I hope I doubt I said that correctly. I apologize, Donald. It's going to affect U.S. expats so we don't have to pay taxes on SSI. Maybe we'll be able to use our Medicare here. Yeah, if either one of those things happen, Donald, it's going to help. That's for sure. Imagine the number of Social Security recipients in the United States at the level of inflation in the United States if they had 100% benefit on their Social Security and didn't have to pay taxes. They'd be coming here. Mid-70s, it was 8-1. Wow. That's before my time here. I mean, I'm not, I'm an old man, but I'm not that old. Apparently, most expats don't have much in savings. They want a secure return in retirement with no risk. I got to tell you, Arnold, I love secure returns without risk. But some of those are shitty. In fact, so Arlene and I were looking, see here how much I want to really say. We were looking at some options, and one of the options that we're looking at was going to entail return on investment. I went to look at Philippine bank certificates of deposit, and then I had to explain it to Arlene, and it's like, she's like, that's just bullshit. That's a terrible, terrible return. And then they want 20%. Because they do automatically take 20% of your gain or of the interest paid on that secured certificate of deposit. Arlene's like, That's bullshit. That's just bullshit. It's like being a loan shark. It's going to be in one of the videos that's coming out shortly. Um, uh, you know, but there's no risk. It's safe and it's secure. But because it's safe and secure, you don't make squat. You're right, Arnold. Todd, I hate to say this, but I honestly think that they should raise Social Security taxes 1% for both employees and employees after cleaning up leakage. Put a 5-year term on the increase to cover boomers. You know, Todd, that's actually an interesting concept. So, the two most efficiently run government departments in the United States, all right, which is the amount of money it takes to run that department and what they accomplish, and this has been measured several times, is Medicare and Social Security. Those two departments are actually very efficient at running. Now, spending is a whole different story. But you make a really solid point, Todd. You could raise the taxes with a term, something that says, you know what, we're going to take into account the boomers. And we take that into account and then it falls off. Yeah, but let recipients get it tax-free. Everybody wants tax-free. Man, that's been interesting this morning. Everybody wants it tax-free. A ranger for collectors, 1976 peso was 7.25 to the dollar my first trip. Wow. Jeez. That's before my time again. It's going to lower our fuel costs here. I don't know how. Why do you say it's going to lower the fuel cost? I'm not sure because we import almost 99%, I think, of all the fuel in the Philippines. Are you talking about lower the fuel costs in the U.S. maybe? Is that what you're really saying? Wow, 68 people in our little live stream. Gee, thank you so much for dropping in. 66 people now. I guess I offended a couple. But, for somebody with a channel as small as ours to get 66 folks at the 42-minute mark, that is great. We really appreciate it. Ruby, inflation is a made-up term. It's called devalue your dollar. I can still buy 2 gallons of gas with a real silver quarter, but I need $6 new to buy the same gas. I'm not sure I understand that. I'm sure the tax priority in the U.S. will be cuts to top end like billionaires. I don't know. I think taxing billionaires is getting much more, let's see the best word for it. I think taxing the high earners at a higher rate is becoming more of a Main Street slogan. I think it's going to happen one of these days. Donald says I said it correctly. Well, thank you, Donald. Not in Kansas. That depends on who you listen to, Mike. Yeah, you know what? It does. And if I had a crystal ball that told me absolutely what was going to happen and exactly what was going to happen, I'd be so rich. I'd be spending my money every day. I wouldn't even have time to look at YouTube, much less make a YouTube channel. But yes, you're right. My mother's 81, Todd. My mother is 81, getting around $1,200. I can pay 1% more if it would get her $100 more a month. Wow. Yeah. Absolutely, Todd. I'm in the same situation. My mother's a little older than 81, though. Sandra, he just told the voters he lied about Project 2020. Our country's screwed. All right. So keep in mind, folks, we are not bashing people. We're not pro-Trump, pro-Harris, anti-Trump. And I'm talking about it's a done deal. He's elected. If he's elected, he's going to make policy changes. How are those what possible policy changes will he be making? And how will they impact you as a expat or as a future expat? We're going to keep this away from the nitty gritty of politics. The invisible American man. Watch what you say. If you offend me, I'll leave. Shit happens. What can I say? I'm sorry. I am number 67. Okay, Kyle, thanks for dropping in. I'm not sure what it means. You could explain it. Oh, you're number 67 of the folks. Wow. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kyle. Bank term deposit returns in the Philippines is next to nothing. If you went to invest in the better to share market with blue chip companies. Yeah, Ruby, I can tell you right now, I researched yesterday. BDO, BPI, Metro Bank, and another big one, I can't remember, Union Bank, and I will tell you right now, their CD rates are abysmal, absolutely abysmal. And when I explained how that worked to our Lynn, she just compared the banks to loan sharks. I mean, they're like money, the wicked money lenders. You'll get a kick out of the video when it comes out. The rich already pay the most tax. In volume, they do. Lynn, I think there are plenty of people who aren't rich that pay very high rates. By dollar amount, do the rich pay, a rich guy pays $1,000 in taxes and a poor guy pays $100 in taxes? Sure, absolutely. But the rich guy might have a $1,000 tax obligation, but he might have $995 of write-offs. But then again, he's investing into the economy and everything that goes along with it. So it's a tough call. A flat tax would be each. Yeah, Sam, it's true. Easier. It's true. It would be easier. But then they say that it unfairly impacts the different people. How you get the worldwide argument of taxes and what's fair and what's not fair, I got no idea. My question is what policies do you think will come out of the Trump administration? How will they impact people? Will they make it more affordable to live in the U.S., or will it look like, the Philippines is a better bargain? I can take my inflation-ridden $20 in the U.S., bring it to the Philippines, and it's still worth $20 worth of value to me. Then it becomes, where do you apply value? How do you do it? Donald, everyone should pay into Social Security on all income from their jobs, no limit, because everyone pays to welfare, but not everyone gets it. You know what, Donald? I got to tell you right now, there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people who scam the entire payroll system in the U.S. They don't pay into the Social Security system. They don't pay FICA. They don't do this. They don't do that. They don't report earnings. How many of those landscapers out there do you think report cash earnings? How many plumbers that do side jobs for cash do you think report that cash? Okay. Yeah. I don't know how you track that stuff, and I don't know how you fix it. Michael, a pre-1964 quarter was made from 90% silver. Silver value today is over $6. I understand, Michael. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Lynn, cut income tax and charge tariffs. I believe that that is going to be part of his policy. I believe that in order for him to have a successful term, that is one of the directions he's going to go. And would that be so bad if the tariff made it more affordable for a company to make a microwave in the U.S. rather than bring in a microwave from China? Wouldn't that benefit the U.S.? Now, it's going to cost more, but still. Sandra, I'm not bashing, just read the agenda. In Australia, our bank interest for savings is 5.5. Nice. See? And that's for savings. That's not even a certificate of deposit, Ruby. What's a certificate of deposit? Say $100,000 or $100,000 equivalent in Australia on a 12-month term in Australia. What would the CD be on that? Just out of curiosity. The invisible, and then you'll be back down to 65 streaming. Yeah, you know what? I'm really impressed with the number of people that have joined us this morning. That's for sure. I'm going to post this link again so that if you'd like to join, you could, and say what you want. Where did I go? Wow, I'm starting to fall behind a little bit. I apologize. Todd, years ago, Steve Forbes proposed a national sales tax. I favor this in lieu of income taxes. The rich have unrealized gains that are not taxed, but they buy expensive yachts, cars, and would pay. But if it's an unrealized gain, is it fair to pay a tax on it? Should I be taxed on something I haven't? Am I forced to sell something so that I can get a gain to pay taxes on? More taxes, the poor would pay less. Absolutely, Todd. 35% for the rich and 15% for those on the lower side. There you go. But where do you decide the rich is? Where do you decide? What's the number? What separates the rich from the not rich? Ranger, Trump's first term, we were in talks with the Philippines to bring back 2 or 3 military. I don't remember that, Ranger. It's possible. To register that yacht or Lamborghini in the U.S., you pay taxes even if you bought it abroad. Yeah, well, I will tell you this, okay? So any boat that has the ability to power itself, and essentially if it has a generator, qualifies, well, there's a couple small other requirements, qualifies as a yacht. But it used to be, I know because I used to do it, okay? I used to have a boat with 2 bedrooms, generator, the whole 9 yards. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful carver, okay? That was a second home. It qualified under the tax code. I could literally deduct the interest on the loan for that boat, just like I deducted my house mortgage interest. Now they quit that, and the year before it went into effect, I sold mine. Tax like the Philippines with VAT tax and everyone pays. Yeah. But there's other taxes here in the Philippines, Donald. There's a VAT tax on what you sell as well. Tradies are tied. Yeah, indeed. You know what? That's a really complicated process, Ruby. It really is. And they are. The U.S. government owe much debt. Yeah, it's in debt up to its ass. You know what? It's way in debt, but it still functions. It's still there. Breaking news: China is exporting babies to the U.S. for tax breaks for dependent children and food stamp for families back in China. Huh. I'd like to see that. Michael, is there a website that you can refer us to? We'll see. 35% is the top 1%. Okay. Let's see here. And hold on there. There we go, Todd. Can you hear us?
Yes, let me turn the TV down so I don't have an echo.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, hello.
How you
I never told
doing?
you that. I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So, what do you think? How do you think it's going to impact? Are you here in the Philippines? No, I'm looking at that ceiling.
No, I'm in
That's
the U.S.
You're in the
It's
U.S.
dark outside.
I'm looking at that ceiling and I'm like, hold on. Nah, nobody puts in vaulted ceilings like that unless you're so filthy rich here. It's pathetic. So with that being said, so are you planning on coming to the Philippines? Do you already come to the Philippines?
Well, my wife is from the Philippines. She's
Ah,
here with her two sons, my stepsons, but they've since moved out. I'm being quiet because she's asleep in the other room. Anyway, our plan is in the next 5 years to retire there.
okay. So do you think this administration is going to make any policy changes that'll make it easier for you to retire here or worse?
I don't think it really will impact me personally, but I think that since there is the concept of changes occurring, then perhaps, with change, if the right person says the right thing to the right person, then maybe some of the changes could be positive to expats.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to be honest. I think change is good. It's how we adapt to it that makes the biggest difference. I mean, you can have change that's positive for you and change that's negative for you, but how you adapt to that is what makes the difference. And I don't know. I don't think it's going to impact us. All right. I'm older. I think anything that's terrible that's going to happen, I'll pass away before it happens. Okay. But I believe that inflation is going to be the hardest thing to beat in the US. So if you're making more money, and trade tariff goes in, the tariffs is going to make lowering inflation
Everything.
really hard. So, but then they're going to say, but you're making more money. You're not paying this. You're in a lower tax rate. So at that point, does the Philippines become more attractive? It's like I'm making more money. I can take in the U.S. I have $20 that's theoretically worth $15. But in the US, I can take my $20 and it's worth $19 in same equivalent value. Do you think that is a possibility?
I think inflation is going to keep going up. Prices are never going to go down, no matter what any presidential candidate told us. But I fear that they're going to put tariffs on, they're just going to use a flat rate. It's like, let's tax everything from China at 80%. And in my example with the t-shirt, if it's a t-shirt and China or Bangladesh makes it for $2 and they're selling it for 20 here, and we make it for $12 and sell it for 20 here, it needs to be a tariff of only $10 on that t-shirt. But if you're selling a cell phone and you're making, a whole lot more, then the tariff should be obviously way more. It depends
Yeah.
on the item. And it
I,
should be to balance the trade between the two countries.
yeah,
Because if you don't, that way, to
I
entice
agree.
those manufacturers, bring it back to the US
Yeah.
and
I,
make jobs here.
I definitely agree. And the problem is I don't know enough to be able to evaluate it in a way that is positively for sure. Okay. And I mean, I can speak about it, I can talk about it, I can sit there and wonder about it, but can I? I am not an economist. So I don't know, how you judge it. But I think that unless some really boner policies come up, it's going to be better for expats. That's my personal opinion.
We can only hope.
Donald says, I had a small remodeling company, and if you don't claim your income, you can't get a loan or get a mortgage. No, you can't. But you know what, Donald? Did you claim well, I'm not going to force you to lie. All right. I got friends with remodeling companies. I had people that owned contracting businesses that built, custom homes. All right. $2-3 million homes. And I know they didn't claim everything. All right. If they could get something like one of the guys, he built these beautiful over in Desert Hills. I mean, $2 million homes up in the boulders and everything. All right. And his wife was an interior decorator. And she paid cash for decorations, and her clients paid cash. And I know they don't, for a fact, didn't report every penny of it. So,
Well, also the other thing I wanted to mention while I was on here, the taxes. I'm a very big proponent for a income tax because everybody's saying, okay, we can't get the money out of the millionaires or billionaires now unless we tax unrealized gains, which is impossible.
yeah,
And they just have to withdraw the money in order to pay the taxes, sell the farm. And so to get around that, you incorporate a sales tax. We've already got sales taxes in almost every state. So you just add a federal tax on there and you get rid of totally an income tax. So
yeah,
just naturally, poor people who spend less, they don't buy Lamborghinis every day, they're not going to pay as much in tax as the rich guy like Elon Musk may buy one every week.
yeah. It's funny because um, in Arizona and in Texas, we encountered counties that had different taxing scenarios. Like, for instance, milk, bread, eggs, meat, stuff like that. There was no sales tax no state sales tax. There's federal tax on the total purchase. I don't know how the U.S. does that. How do
Well,
they?
like, okay, for a federal tax, you exempt food, medicine, like you just said. Also exempt childcare, but don't give a childcare tax credit to people where they get more money returned to them than they ever paid in federal taxes into the system.
Oh, I'm going to tell you right now. So I owned. Okay, I'm going to try and find a very polite way of saying this. In the course of a real estate transaction that I did in Phoenix, okay, I ended up owning a gentleman's club. I had an entertainer at that club who had 2 kids. And I'm going to tell you what, she never paid a dime on her earnings because it was all cash business for them. But she got tax money back at the end of the year because of her children.
And that's
You
what's
know?
broken with the system.
Yeah, it is. It
And a sales
absolutely.
tax would fix all of this, everything they're talking about.
It would be different. That's for sure. Let me catch up on a few comments here. Mogman, the robbery is you get to pay You pay tax. You buy anything, you pay tax. You buy land, you pay tax, and you taxed every year for it. Same with, whoops, oh man, I almost kicked Mogman out by accident. Wrong button. The same with selling it, you're taxed again. Yeah, you're true. It's true. And by the way, folks,
And your tax when you made it.
yeah, Mogman has a new addition to his family. Please congratulate him. I don't know either. Mogman is an ugly guy. Well, that's a terrible thing to say. Okay, he's not ugly. He's just average at best. He has a stunning wife, and they had a beautiful baby. Good luck to you, Mog. Congratulations. His wife, she's a very, very sweet woman. I met her once about 2 years ago now. Ruby, increasing tariffs would mean prices would be higher. Yep, that's what we said. All right, that it would cause inflation. Business person is their right mind would pass that on to the customer to maintain. Sure, well, you gotta pass it on. You can't sell it for a loss. So, Con, hello from Phoenix. Hey, Con, how you doing? What part of Phoenix are you in? Wow, someone from my own neck of the woods. Hit the like button, help Mike out. Oh, thanks so much. Mogman, in the Philippines, if you stay more than 60 days, you're taxed to leave. Yeah, you are. You have to pay money to leave. It was a sarcastic statement. No, you know what, Michael? I'm not sure what, because I'm behind on the comments, what the statement was. But, I mean, China is China. There's not much you can do that's sarcastic about them. They are in deep shit, and they cheat like hell. That's all I can say. The only policy change I could see affecting anyone out of the U.S. wanting to come in would be a change and streamline to visas and immigration. That's about it. It would be nice, Mog. You know what, Mog? It would be nice if your wife could get a tourist visa in a week. And, you didn't have to go through 15 months of getting a spousal U.S. visa just to go home and visit the family and to bring that beautiful kid to see the rest of the family. So, congrats to the sensible Americans who didn't vote for socialism and identity politics. How you doing, Doc? It's good to see you. How's things doing down there in Cebu? I hope we'll be able to get visas for our fiancés and Asawa's much easier. Donald, I do believe at some point there's going to be an awakening for immigration. At some point, whether I got a buddy right now who's a 1%er. He's married to a beautiful Philippine woman. They just had a baby. They didn't just have a baby, all right? And she's now 4 months pregnant. Scott, big kudos out to you, all right? Long-time government employee for the VA. I'm not going to go into what he does, privacy. He's a good guy. He literally has been trying to get his wife's visa for over a year, complained to his congressman, and the reply was that, oh, yeah, you're in the queue. We're going to get to you sometime late 2026. Oh, no, 2025. I'm sorry, next year. All right. He's going to go 2 years prior to getting a spousal visa. It's horrible. Sam, the problem is a large number of expats rely on. Yes, Sam, you're right. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And some people are just that way. If Kamala won, my real estate would appreciate more, but for the people, Trump is in a better choice. Yeah, I think so, Doc. But again, I'm not. this live is not going to be about Trump and Kamala, Democrat versus Republican. This is all about Trump won. What policy change do you see coming? And is that policy change going to be good for you and good for the Philippines? Trump's not smart enough to figure out how tariffs work. You don't even know what one is. I don't know about that. What's up, Mog? Bring back Clark and Subic and a 100 peso bar fine. Those days are long gone, you know. Ace Bachelor, cool. I saw him put out a video the other day where he was at a bar and the bar fines started at like 5 or 6,000 and went up to 12,000. I can't imagine that, but it works. Since Reagan, every single proposed budget by congressional has either included cuts, sunset provisions, or sunset provisions for Social Security. I don't know, Matt. I haven't researched it. I do know this. We still have it. Okay? We still have it. Made it through Bush, made it through Trump. Republicans have not gotten rid of Social Security. I think any president that tries to touch Social Security in a negative manner is going to be in for it. It's too big a voting block. What's up, bud? California Bear, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Mogman. Funny thing is, everyone screams about the rich, 1%, yada, yada. But left or right both give tax credits, tax loopholes, and all use it. Rich, middle, or poor. Yeah, you're absolutely correct, Mog. Absolutely correct. California doing great. How's Cebu? Entertainers, self-employed to help tax breaks for the clubs. Yeah, you know, yeah, sure, you're right, Mog. I mean, we took full, the law allows for XYZ. If the law allows for it, then it must want you to use it. They wouldn't put it in there. They wouldn't put those caveats in there if they didn't want you to use it. I realize why 90% of the expats are staunch Republicans. Nah, you're right. I'm ugly. I used to be a stunner, but age caught up with me. Way gay. No, you're not ugly, Mog. You're just not like, you're not the prettiest peach on the tree. You and I are on that same agenda there, and both of us ended up with very beautiful wives. That's all there is to it. Lots are ex-military. Generally, people move to the Philippines in search of more traditional women. I'm not so, Doc, I think that's worth another live stream as to just how more traditional they are compared to women you can find in the U.S. You want a traditional woman in the U.S., go to Kentucky, all right? She won't be educated, but they're not educated here either. Actually, that's not true. They will be educated to a certain degree, all right? Go to Missouri. Go to Alabama, for God's sakes. Okay?
Mississippi, that's where I am.
Mississippi, there you go. All right. It's all about education. That's what makes them, in search of a different direction. Going good, reunited, bonding with the family. So, yeah, California Bears having a good time. Great. You're taxed to get on a boat, go through the airport, and leave the Philippines. Yeah, you're right, Mog. You got to pay to leave the Philippines.
Hey, Mike, if I may, I'm going to go ahead and step off, but thanks for having me on.
Oh, Todd, thanks for dropping in. All right.
Thank you.
You have a great day. All right.
You too.
Take care. Let me fix that there. There we go. And I'll put the link back up. There we go. Let's see here. I got behind on the I'm behind. Let me try and find my spot even. Jeez. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm going to catch up now. I realize why 90% Mog, you're a military Mog man. Good Mog. First son. So Todd Moscow. I hope I said that close to right, Tom. I apologize. Philippine tax rate, we pay 33% tax on our Philippine corporate income tax on average from our rice milling business, and our VAT exempt on the milling fee, just feeding the crocodiles. 33% corporate tax. Wow. I wasn't aware of that. Didn't know it was that high. Oh gosh, Mike, yes, a quick visa, even for a year for 160 US dollars, everyone would pay it. One entry, 3-month visa, you could get it in a week. Wouldn't that be great, Mog? That would be great. I'm excited about the new administration, W says. First thing, get rid of the FTC chair. She goes after American companies like Tesla. You know, I think that Trump is going to be putting out policy and administration that is a little bit more business friendly. Businesses employ people, so we just figure it out. Mogman says, my friend just spent 2 years waiting on his spouse's visa. Next month, he finally got a date for the... Yeah, Mog, it's crazy. There's Phil. Good morning, Phil. There you go. Have a nice day. It'd be nice if such didn't penalize for making over 22K until you're 70, I think. I retired in March because I made over... Yeah. Phil's got a real interesting story about how he sort of made a mistake because he didn't know about that when he first retired. Tell you this, America is one of the few companies that give tax breaks and taxes back. It's true. That's true. The banks are all happy with change. The amount of regulation there, understand the constant threat of audit. Yeah, and I wonder how easily or how difficult it would be to repeal some of that. Randy says, I'll be honest, I'm not a Trump fan. I wouldn't have voted for her either. But I honestly don't think anyone wanting easier K-1 visa to be streamlined during his presidency time drank the Kool-Aid. Oh, no. I don't think, Randy, a lot of times I think it doesn't depend so much on what somebody can do, but what they can get started. All right? That to me is at least something. Social Security is socialism. It's right there in the name. All right? As is Medicare and the Veterans Administration. Could be. Depends on how you view it. I mean, I know people that paid into Medicare and died 4 months after they turned 65. They didn't receive anywhere near what they put in it. But, yes, bar fines in Makati are $10,000. I think we could chalk that up to inflation. I mean, that's got to be true inflation, don't you think? I think anyone on Social Security should be tax exempt. When you hit retirement, you become tax exempt. But would you tax exempt all of their income or only just tax exempt their Social Security? Wandering Doc, I see 1031 exchanges staying and back to 100%. You know what, Doc? I for sure think they're going to be around. I think absolutely. As far as Philippine visas, spousal visas, I think more the same status quo. I think there's going to be change started. Will they accomplish it? I don't know. Wink, Mike. I used to manage a club. They're also self-employed to cut liability to the clubs. Yeah, there's actually several reasons. Um, the liability issue is, some of these girls break the law. Oh, I'm a peach and a very juicy peach. It's something that he has boggled my mind for the last year. So who's ready for the Tyson Paul fight next? I'm telling you, Mog man, I'm still all in on Tyson. I am still all in on Tyson. I'm almost afraid it will be worse, Wandering Doc, and I'm just starting the process when I come back from the Philippines to get my partner's paperwork. Randy, I wish you the best of luck. All right, and Godspeed. Fear. Maybe it's because I always lived in the cities, but only traditional women I found in the U.S. were raised in Mexico, China, or Peru. You didn't date any of those hillbillies. Come on, you are trying to tell me that Walter Reed and I forget the couple other places you were. They didn't have some traditional nurses. I don't know. The problem with Filipinos getting U.S. visas short term is that once they get to the U.S., they'll go into hiding. All right, and they won't leave. They will choose. But isn't that the way it is? I mean, don't the Chinese go into hiding? Some of them never go back, Ruby. There are people from other countries that go into hiding besides the Filipinos. Why pick on Filipinos? Yeah, we had a shitload of Filipinos back in the day that did it because they were being brought over by Americans. And, they had help coming over. But I think every country faces that. So, Mike, is the slow visa process a tribute to the backlog, government bureaucracy, administration? I think they're just lazy as shit, Randy. Honest to God. I'm sure they blame it on COVID. They blame it on the backlog. They blame it on having to reassign people to other areas because of other immigrants. There's a thousand reasons, and I think they're all full of shit. Main reason why Filipinos struggle to get tourist visas to first world countries is have to prove they're genuine tourists. Yeah, but how do you prove you're a genuine tourist? All right. I came to the Philippines to live on a tourist visa. So I do see where you're going with that, though, Ruby. There's a whole lot of truth to it. I think USA inbound visa processing will stay the same or slow while asylum process. Yeah, I do too. Oh, please, Randy, let us know anytime you're going to be in town. We're always happy to meet people. Mike, have you been to Malaysia looking for travel tips? You know what, Doc? I have not. I've never wanted to go to Malaysia. I'm just being honest. KCB says, I just want what's best for the American people. I want what's best for Arlen and I. No offense to any of you, okay? But I'm always going to be on the lookout for my wife and I. Hillbillies. Be right back. Gotta run. All right, Mog. I agree and then wonder why we want out. Yeah, definitely. Jen Geo. How you doing, Jen and Geo? Trump going to finish the wall, open the pipeline, straighten out America. Yeah, but how is that going to affect you here? How's it going to affect? I mean, I want to say that the premise here is multiple. I want to know or think, How does it affect people that are planning on becoming expats? How does it affect people that are already expats? And then finally, how much or does it affect the Philippines at all? And how do you think, where do you fall in to uh, that category? I miss the cold. I miss the cold too, Doc. I really do. All right. But it's the way it goes. Glenn B, damn, I'm late. Nah, you're never late. We're here. You're here. I'm here. What was that? Hold on a second. That's got to be a stupid text. This is going to be a text I just got, I bet, from BDO, from the bank. Great deals. Blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. Trump going to finish, Glenn, stay warm there. I miss the cold. Filipinos need to travel to Asian countries first where they don't need visas as tourists. That'll have your... Yes, Ruby, there's no doubt about that whatsoever. The more stamps you have in your passport, the more of a chance you'll have. Sunset Travel. How you doing, Sunset? How you doing? Thanks for dropping in. Hi, Mike. If Tyson doesn't... Yeah, I'm all in on Tyson. I really am. He can take a punch. Brutal honesty, Mike. That's what you like about Arlen and I. Yeah, we're just really honest. We're not going to agree with everybody, but that doesn't mean we don't like them. We think everybody's entitled to their opinion. We're not going to, just because we don't agree with somebody, doesn't mean we don't like them. Doesn't mean we dislike them. We just don't agree. That's all. Tyson's going to beat Jake Paul like Trump beat. Brian is just ready for it. One of the U.S. stations had a story on how the Trump administration will address South China Sea. China's making man-made islands closer to the Philippines. They said expect more U.S. troops. I don't know. I think there's a lot of hyperbole to that. There are limitations. I mean, we don't have any bases in the Philippines. The United States government has no military bases in the Philippines. Do we lease some land on Philippine bases? Yes. Do we have troops here? Yeah, we have troops here. Very, very limited number. I don't know. It'll be interesting. And yeah, they're making islands in the South China Sea, and their islands are sinking. There's a lot of videos on that. My 401k is the only thing I worry about, but yesterday stocks went up, so yeah. Yesterday was a great day for my 401k. Me too, Philly, but maybe 10 years ago, I would turn on the TV. Okay. Ruby, that is correct. My wife's friends in the U.S. first went to Korea, then Japan, and now they were approved to visit the United States. Nice. Very nice, Todd. Okay. Oops, in the Philippines, not U.S. So, oh, man, I will tell you. You know what? I'm going to put this link up one more time. And if you want to join in on the panel, we will have you on the panel and take the time to see what your opinions are. And you can voice those opinions. Or if nobody else is interested in being on the panel, we've been on for an hour and a half. I wouldn't be desperate to end this, so to speak. So, with that being said, the link is up, and we'll go from there. Let's see here. Yeah, I can't believe. What did BDO send me? So why is the bank BDO deal? Get 30% or up to 3,000 pesos off at Klook.com with your BDO debit card. That's pretty bad. The bank is advertising for somebody else. Only in the Philippines. Only in the Philippines. Well, I don't know if it's only in the Philippines. All right. But you wouldn't see that in many of the first world countries I've been. Randy says, I honestly think it's a great election for expats, but for immigration, I have a wait and see approach. Yeah, I think that the possibility of good things is high. I think there are more reasons to think that there'll be good policy change that will help expats more than it will hurt them. I really and truly do. But you know what? Randy's correct. We're going to have to wait and see. Simple as that. All right, folks. I'll tell you what, it's been an hour and a half. We've had a great live stream. I want to tell each and every one of you I really appreciate it. We really appreciate you dropping by. Please feel free to subscribe, watch our videos, hit that like button, that thumbs up, and we want you to have a great day and to be safe. Thanks so much, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.